Welcome to Too Many Cooks in the Kitchen, where food and health meet real talk and maybe a little friendly fire.
Join our discussions on food, health, lifestyle, and what to do when you burn dinner.
It's not burnt, it's caramelized. It may get messy while we're stirring things up.
From kitchen hacks and hot health takes to wellness tips and who really left the stove on.
Wasn't me. It's two voices, one mission, better food, better health.
I'm Janel, the mother, professional chef turned author and soil scientist, focused on sustainable food systems and regenerative agriculture, along with how to sustain and regenerate health and the human spirit.
I'm Lauren, the daughter, lifelong food lover, private chef, and soon to be the next Julia Child. Today's episode, we're focusing on inflammation.
Let's get into it. We are super excited to have you join us today. The topic is inflammation, and we're going to learn the ins, the outs, and everything that there is to know about inflammation from Lauren. I'm hoping she did her homework on this one. I will be asking her questions, and she will be answering it. Are you ready?
Hopefully I did enough research and I don't embarrass myself here because I wouldn't say I'm an expert on inflammation, but I do consider it a topic that I know a fair amount about for someone who is not a doctor. So, everything I say today is from research that I've done, books I've read, not my personal opinion. I did not go to school for this. I am a chef. I cook food. So, yeah.
You've
I'll do
lived
my
it.
best.
You've lived it. And this is really what
Exactly.
this whole podcast is going to be about. Real people digging into what you can really find on the internet, the good, the bad. We'll use our critical thinking hats to do that. Me, as the PhD scientist, will keep it real with the, is that really true? And then we'll balance it back and forth because we do realize there's a ton of information out there. And we're really just trying to dig through all the crap to find the basic information to help you guys all out. All right, question number 1. Could you define inflammation and why it seems to be something so many people are talking about, like us?
Inflammation is the body's biological response to damage or infection, injury, anything that is harmful to the body responds with inflammation. So that's how it goes about healing it, by bringing attention to that area, heating it up, causing pain, soreness. Then the body can begin to heal itself through that response. It seems a little bit counterintuitive that the body would hurt itself to heal itself, but that's
Seems
what
like Mother Nature has a plan somewhere. Maybe it's kind of like, hey, stop doing that.
Yeah,
And then,
exactly.
duh. How about stress? Does that cause that?
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of things that can cause inflammation. And one of the reasons it's such a big topic that people are talking about these days is because inflammation seems to be chronic throughout society. It seems like more and more people are experiencing and suffering from inflammation in the body, different parts of the body. And that's why everyone's talking about it, because the way that we live today really, it promotes inflammation. It does not help. Like you were saying, one of the things that can cause inflammation is stress. Other things are our diet. The diet that we eat today just is not what it used to be. And other things like lack of sleep, just, personal injury, a lot of things can cause inflammation. So that's why we're talking about it today.
So, what do you believe are some misconceptions that are commonly associated with inflammation? And when we talk about it,
Well, I would say the biggest misconception is that all inflammation is bad. Like I said previously, inflammation is the body's way of trying to heal itself. So it doesn't, if you're experiencing inflammation, it doesn't inherently mean that it's bad. But chronic inflammation, inflammation that you have for long, extended periods of time, can be bad. So you really have to gauge for yourself whether you think your inflammation is bad. If it's something that you've been experiencing for weeks, months, years, probably something that needs to be assessed.
So let me parrot that back, I guess. So if like I sprain my ankle, right, and it swells up, that's inflammation.
Hmm.
But like that, as long as I stay off of it and allow a little bit of time to heal, that's like that response, okay, hey, stay off your ankle, but it is not a terrible thing of like, oh, that's going to be like that forever. It will heal if given time. So
Exactly.
that's like acute inflammation, right?
Yes.
Not very cute if you ask me, if you sprain your ankle. Then chronic inflammation is something like someone who has rheumatoid arthritis or like an autoimmune disease where the body kind of like goes haywire, correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, cool.
And other types of inflammation, I mean, you can have inflammation from getting a cold, if your sinuses are inflamed and that kind of thing, like that, with proper treatment, rest, good food, like it should go away eventually. But if for some reason it's not going away, say, you sprained your ankle and 6 months later you're still having a problem with your ankle, probably time to take other measures to heal that.
That's really interesting. I've never thought about a sinus like when you get a cold, that's actually inflammation. It's amazing. I've never made the link. Wow.
Imagine that,
Okay.
because you get a sinus infection usually every year or multiple times a
Yeah.
year.
Aha.
Anytime allergies or
Pulsatilla
colds
has
kick
been my
in.
friend, finally,
Mm.
after having a sinus infection that basically lasted 20 years. Okay. Why should anybody care? Isn't inflammation something older adults need to worry about? Or should our listeners that are in their 20s to 30s worry about it?
I think everyone should care about inflammation, because it doesn't matter how old you are, you will experience symptoms of inflammation. I am only 27, and years ago and throughout my childhood, I experienced chronic stomach pain and inflammation because I have Crohn's disease. So I think it's something that not just older adults need to think about. And as you grow older and your body deteriorates more, you may experience more chronic inflammation. So I think for young people, it's important to, focus on your health, take preventative measures, so that way when you are older, you hopefully don't experience as much inflammation.
So, like, if you ignore it, what kind of things could happen?
Well, in my case, I ignored chronic stomach inflammation for years, or not necessarily ignored, but
Misdiagnosed
didn't.
or not diagnosed?
Exactly. I had tried it. I mean, a lot of these things, it can be very difficult to diagnose. So ignoring doesn't necessarily mean you're ignoring the issue. You could be trying to solve it, but it's hard to find answers. So for me, my ignored stomach inflammation led to needing extensive bowel surgery, where for disease section of, I think it was my large intestine. Do you remember if it was large or small
I believe it
intestine?
was the small intestine, the
Okay.
bigger,
Yeah.
longer, wiggly part, not your colon, but your small intestine, which
Okay.
is kind of
Yeah.
the
So the small
thing
intestine,
that
I had,
does the most digesting. Or
yes. So I had four disease section of my small intestine that had to be removed, or else, I mean, I don't know. I suppose I could have died. Yeah. So I guess the most severe uh, symptom of chronic inflammation left unchecked could be death. That's highly unlikely. I would certainly think most people would take preventative measures before, but I mean, sometimes you don't really know. So, I mean,
Yeah, and it is one of those that if you don't get the right diagnosis, it's important to just keep trying,
mhm,
and getting a different opinion, and doing some of your own research and believing in yourself. When you go to the doctor,
mhm,
you gotta just, like, if you think it's like you did because you went to the emergency room because you had gone to gastro doctors, they
twice.
tested, and you finally were like, "No, I know something's wrong, and I'm not leaving here until you do something about it." And that was finally, and kudos to you that you did that because it could have, you'd still be suffering.
Yes.
All
But
right.
the biggest thing is that had I known what I know now, I would never have let it get to that point, but I did not have the knowledge to be able to heal my body without that extreme intervention. And one of the reasons we're talking about this today is because we want to be able to inform people that, there is a way for you to do this on your own, and you don't, I mean, if you're really, really suffering, please get medical professional help. But if you're at early stages of inflammation, there are so many things you can do on your own to be able to heal your body and not have to see a doctor. But
Take empowerment of your own. We all need to
yeah.
kind of take a little bit of ownership. There is no magic pill. It often is just you have to treat your body a certain way. But when it's really bad, going to the doctor to get the diagnosis and obviously getting diseased parts taken care of, like that's super important.
Mhm.
And then it's like maintenance is
Yeah.
that's where you need to take ownership. Cool. So how, um, would I know, like, if I was inflamed? I mean, we've kind of touched on this, but what are some real actual symptoms of inflammation?
Mm. Well, the most common signs of inflammation are swelling, pain, warmth, loss of function of a certain area of the body. Um, I mean, there are tons of symptoms of inflammation, especially if you're talking about different areas of the body. But you can have headaches, joint pain, constipation, diarrhea, nausea, weight loss or weight gain, depending on how your body responds, um, elevated blood pressure, skin rashes, increased thirst, irritability. I mean, we could go on and on about the symptoms of inflammation.
So, if you're not feeling like yourself, maybe could be inflammation. Inflammation.
Yeah.
You should just go get it checked out, right? All right. So, you've convinced me. Yeah, and obviously, you know, being in touch with my internal body and having another issues. I mean, I'm menopausal, so like inflammation. Hello, that's kind of part and parcel goes along with that. So I've certainly dealt with that. So we want to take it seriously, and that's super important. But you go to the doctor, they give you a diagnosis, you find out, okay, it's inflammation. Maybe you need to do something about it. How do you reduce inflammation or some potential ways of doing that? And then for especially our younger set, how is it that you might prevent it from happening in the first?
Well, there's lots of ways to take power back into your own hands and help heal inflammation in your body. In my opinion, the biggest thing you can do is to make dietary changes. Um, Figuring out what foods can cause your body inflammation can reduce inflammation all over your body, not just if you have like stomach pain or inflammation. It can help with all kinds of things: headache, joint pain, so many things. So, but there's also other things you can do beyond food. Getting enough sleep and rest at night is a huge one. Um, Making sure that you're drinking enough water. Hydration is very important. Spending time out in nature can help you reduce inflammation. Meditation, practices that can reduce stress. All of these things are, you know, pretty, they can seem a bit daunting if they're not something that you're already practicing. But once, it's about taking baby steps. So, maybe first you think you could add 10 minutes of meditation to your day in the morning. You never know how much stress that can reduce. And it's proven that even just a few minutes of meditation can help calm the body and regulate your nervous system and the breath. And that is a big, big help with inflammation.
So you touched on food, and because this Too Many Cooks in the Kitchen podcast is really focused
Mostly
kind of
about food.
around food and what we put in our
Yeah.
body. And of course, this is kind of really taking control of that by what we put in our body, because food is medicine, in my humble opinion. What role does food play in, as you said, kind of what you put in your body to reduce inflammation? But what types of food can be some of the easy, low-hanging fruit that lead to inflammation?
Well,
I stumped her.
no. No, I know lots of food that can cause inflammation. I just wasn't sure how I wanted to start. Well, food, you are what you eat. So if you're eating food that can cause inflammation, like fried food, very sugary foods, high in carbs, well, not high in carbs necessarily, because some carbs can be beneficial for you. Carbs is a huge category. So I'm talking things that are like ultra processed,
Mm.
things like chips and really anything that comes in a package, cookies, trail mix. Well, I mean, not all trail mix. I take that back. Some trail mix is good.
The basic like gorp, like nuts and
Yeah, yeah.
raisins
And
and
even then, a lot of the fruit in there can be, it's treated with sulfur dioxide. It has added sugar. It's also has sunflower seed oil, or canola oil, depending. So both of like any type of hydrogenated oils, I would stay away from anything that's fried in hydrogenated oils, ultra processed, packaged food high in sugar, soda, drinks that have a lot of sugar are very bad for inflammation. So those are a few to start with.
so I have to
And the
stop
ones that
drinking
are the
Monsters.
biggest culprits. What's that?
So I have to stop drinking the like
Oh yeah,
energy
the Red
drink.
Bull is out.
Damn. What about coffee?
Actually, coffee, because it's fermented, can help to slightly reduce inflammation.
Coffee's not fermented.
Yes, it is. The bean is fermented.
No,
Yeah.
dried chocolate is
No,
fermented.
coffee.
Coffee's fermented?
Yes.
I'm
I
gonna
can
check
solve
into
this
this.
right now. Are coffee
I thought the
beans?
the coffee beans were just dried and roasted. Green
Yes,
coffee beans.
coffee beans are fermented as part of the post-harvest processing stage, which is essential for removing the coffee's cherry fruit and preparing the bean. This natural process, which can involve different methods like wash or natural processing, uses yeast and bacteria to break down the sticky mucilage layer
Yes. Yes.
around the bean, which infuses the coffee's final flavor.
Well, I stand or sit corrected. Wow. I learned something today. And I hope you, all of our listeners, have learned something as well. This has been super informative. In closing, do you have anything else that you want to talk about, that you want to impart to our listeners about
Yeah.
inflammation?
I guess I would like to introduce a few foods that can help to reduce inflammation in the body naturally. I
Yes,
mean,
please.
obviously the biggest one, I mean, water is not a food, but I would say it is one of the it is an essential nutrient of life, or I don't, is it a nutrient? I don't know. It's an essential part of life. The body is 80% water, so you need a lot of it. If you're not getting enough water, chances are you're going to feel it. And once you do start to drink enough water, you will notice a huge difference. But some foods, not just water, that help to reduce inflammation are foods that are high in probiotics. Things that are fermented, like yogurt, kefir, kombucha, sauerkraut, kimchi, all those kinds of foods promote
Yum.
good gut bacteria. And we're obviously going to do a whole episode on this topic in the future. But just to name a few, these things are very, very good for the gut microbiome, and having a good gut flora can help to reduce inflammation all over the body, not just in the gut, but especially in the gut.
Super exciting. I can't wait for that episode.
And one more thing, one of my favorite foods that helps to reduce inflammation is turmeric. Turmeric is a great natural anti-inflammatory. You can drink it in a shot, cook it into oatmeal, you can do tons of different things with it, but you have to activate it with black pepper. That is a very important step, or you won't get the full anti-inflammatory properties. And the best part of the turmeric is under the skin. That's the most anti-inflammatory part of the turmeric. So personally, I never remove the skin because I want all the full benefits of it.
Yeah, besides, it's a pain in the butt anyway. You might as well just scrub it
Yeah.
and throw it in there.
And I apologize for anything that turns yellow on the behalf of the turmeric. It just, you have to make sacrifices sometimes. So just have like one cutting board that you cut your turmeric on, and don't use it on anything else, or you'll just turn your entire kitchen yellow.
Yeah, it's a pretty yellow though. I don't know. It's kind of like a
It is.
mustardy
And it
kind of
does
yellow.
like come out eventually after many washes, but I have stained quite a few blenders and Robocoos permanently. Well, permanently.
Aw, sad. My
But for
blender
the
has
better for it.
not gotten dyed from my turmeric, so I am excited about that. But I don't make turmeric shots. I just throw it into my smoothies. So maybe that's why.
Mm.
Awesome. So I want to get us into the next part of our podcast, and that is the book review. So, listeners, each week we are going to be featuring a book that goes along with the theme of the episode, today being inflammation. And I hear that Lauren has a pretty awesome book to talk about. Look at her drinking that water. And in
This
glass,
is
not
not an
plastic.
advertisement, but if Mountain Valley wants to sponsor me, that would be awesome. I
But
rely
she
on
just
it.
naturally drinks it anyway. I'm very fortunate that I have a really nice well and it comes straight
Mm.
from the earth. And I am fortunate that I don't have anybody
Yeah, I
around
live
me
in
that's
Florida.
causing it to be contaminated.
I live in Florida, so I
Yeah,
don't trust the water
I'll
here.
see.
But
I'll try.
eventually I will get an RO water filter. And obviously we're going to do a topic or a whole episode on water, because why not? It's a huge topic and there's lots to talk about.
It's almost as essential as soil for life on the planet.
Exactly. Which happens to be our next episode topic, but we'll more on that later.
Back to the book. So,
Yeah.
what book are we going to talk about today?
So for this episode, I read The Inflammation Spectrum by Dr. Will Cole. Dr. Will Cole is one of my favorite doctors who's very well known right now for lots of different reasons. I follow him on Instagram, and I think you should too. Dr. Will Cole is a functional medicine expert, author, and podcast host who helps patients all over the world by addressing the underlying cause of his patients' chronic health conditions. His books top the New York Times bestseller list, including Ketotarian, Gut Feeling, Intuitive Fasting, and the Inflammation Spectrum. The inflammation spectrum highlights how inflammation is the cause of many health ailments, and he proposes a personalized approach to healing the body using food. First, Dr. Cole defines inflammation and how it is most commonly presented in the body. Next, one can determine the level of inflammation in their body using Dr. Cole's quiz. With the results of the quiz, one is then able to determine which of two elimination diets they should participate in order to embark on their healing journey. From there, Dr. Cole walks you through each week of the elimination diet, where you each week eliminate a different food coinciding with the diet you've chosen. Beyond diet, Dr. Cole also offers you techniques and tips for reducing inflammation in the body, like meditation, time spent in nature, and much more. Each week, he also gives you a mantra to repeat and to embody your journey that week. And I found the idea of his book super helpful. I think that anyone who likes a step by step approach like this to healing, I think this is a really great place to start. His guide really makes it super simple. He outlines all the foods that you can and can't have. He provides you with recipes. He also gives you space to write in the book and take notes. And I think that it's very, very well thought out. This week's kombucha.
Zen Coast. Pure love.
And this one's really good because it's just kombucha. Like, it's not a flavor, it's just the
Mhm.
kombucha. And
Nice.
in the first sip I had of it, I got a huge chunk of the mother. So
Wow.
love that. But anyway, it's not about kombucha.
Moms rock.
Back to the book.
Got it.
As I was saying, I personally believe that this book can be a huge help for a lot of people, and I'm not the only one, as it was on the New York Times bestseller list, so I think that speaks for itself. If you want to start your healing journey today, I think you should pick up a copy of the Inflammation Spectrum and maybe just give it a read and then decide for yourself.
And we will have a link to this in the show notes, so check those out. So any useful resources that we have will always be bopped into the show
Yes.
notes, so we'll have that.
And we might as well share his Instagram on there as well, because he posts all kinds of easy tidbits, tips, like, just simple things that you can do in your everyday life to help you feel better. If reading a book and spending 4 to 8 weeks seems a bit daunting, I think that's a good place to start.
So, gateway drug, Instagram.
Obviously.
Once you're hooked, then go to the book.
I mean, if you're gonna scroll, you might as well scroll something beneficial.
That's a good way to think about it, because scrolling sometimes can be just like
Down a rabbit hole that you
yeah,
can't
there's
get out of.
far too many rabbit holes on those Instagram, everything, Facebook, wherever you go, social media. All right, so the next topic that we want to feature in every single one of our episodes, because, well, we are cooks, or we like messing around in the kitchen.
Well, I'm a chef. She used to be a chef.
Still cook, but just privately. Very private chef.
You can still cook, but without the title.
Yeah, and I don't get paid for it. I do get compliments, though, so I suppose that is pay enough. But we want to have a featured food in every single one of our episodes. So drum roll. What is the food item for this week?
Swiss chard.
Whoa! I love Swiss chard. I like to
So
just chop it and saute it really quick, but I don't think the listeners want to do that.
there's lots of things that you can do with Swiss chard, and we're each every week going to make a recipe. We're each going to write our own recipe and then share them with one another, and then we each have to create the other's recipe, and then we're going to taste and review it for you guys. And don't worry, we're going to share the recipes with you guys too, so that way you can also participate.
So what we're really sharing is our review of each other's recipes. And no
Yes.
going rogue, Lauren. You have to make it exactly how I write it.
Yes.
I know it's
I
really
have
hard.
to.
Same with me.
But I will give my tips on how I would possibly make it with my own personal flair or make it better. I mean, that's based on personal opinion, obviously, but
Same with me. I will make the recipe exactly how Lauren writes it and then give my 2 cents, as a mother is prone to do, of the recipes. So this should be fun. And we will also hopefully share some of our recordings while we are making it, as well as the first taste. But really what we're going to focus on the actual episode is us kind of bantering back and forth about cooking them and what we think.
Friendly fire.
So let's get into it.
We'll see you guys in the kitchen.
Okay, the assignment, Swiss chard quiche that Lauren has sent me. I've looked over the recipe. It looks a little different. The pie crust contains 2 egg yolks, which I haven't really used before. I have used an egg in a pie crust once, but most of the time it's just flour, butter, salt, and a little bit of ice water. So I'm looking forward to getting started with this recipe, and I will be back to critique it. See you later. Here we are with the crust. Looks pretty good as a start. Comes together pretty well. Looks like it would make it easy.
The dough was super easy to work with. I was able to easily roll it out, so I really liked adding that egg. Of course, I use rice when I par-bake mine, and I had some really nice fresh Swiss chard, gathered all of my ingredients, of course using mise en place, sauteed up that wonderful chopped up Swiss chard. It smelled wonderful. The recipe came together super easy. I really enjoyed that. It was really easy to get it together. Didn't have to do layering, a whole lot of mixing or anything. A win-win for this recipe. It came out absolutely fantastic.
All right, I made this dish. And now I'm gonna taste it. Let's see how good it is. All right, let's see. I'll pull this in here. Stefan thinks it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Nice eating temperature.
Mm-hmm. Nice balance between the Swiss chard veggie with the cream and the eggs and cheese.
Fabulous.
He just says fabulous. Can you say that again?
I said fabulous.
How about the crust? What do you think?
Perfect. Yeah.
The crust is perfect.
Very nice crust.
All right.
There. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Well, there you have it. The crust was perfect. So perhaps putting 2 egg yolks in your pie crust is the way to go. So good job, Lauren. I think it's good. I can't wait to hear what you think of my Swiss chard recipe.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming to my kitchen. I've just made my mom's Swiss chard tart and I'm very excited to try it. Making this recipe, I was a little bit apprehensive about it because it's similar but it's different from the recipe that I shared with my mom in that this one has sugar in it, so it's more of like a sweet and savory, whereas the one that I shared completely savory, you know, it had cheese and egg and cream. It was a quiche, so it's different but similar. You know, they both have pie crust and obviously they both have Swiss chard because that's what the recipe was based around. But this one is interesting because it does have sugar in it. It also has raisins and pine nuts. So I guess this is a kind of traditional French provincial recipe, and it's not something that I've tried before, so I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm actually really pleasantly surprised by the flavor of it. It's not overly sweet. It's very like subtle sweetness. The sugar that's added to it really complements the raisins in it, and the Swiss chard is not like bitter or any, like I think the sugar and the sweetness from the raisins, it really cuts the bitterness of the Swiss chard. And then there's cream and egg in it, which helps kind of bind it together. And then there's pine nuts in it as well, which give it like a nice kind of slightly crunchy texture, as opposed to it just being all very soft and kind of like, you know, like you bite through it easily. It gives it a bit more of an interesting texture. So I really like it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna enjoy the rest. I hope you guys try both of our recipes and let us know which one you like better. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you.
Well, this episode is fully baked. Remember, don't stress over perfection.
Cooking and life can be messy, but that's where the magic happens. Inspiration can come from even the worst of kitchen mess ups.
Yeah, like how the chocolate chip cookie was born.
And the potato chip. Sometimes you gotta get messy to get clean.
Thanks for joining us in the kitchen. Subscribe so you don't miss the next food fight episode.
You can follow us on Instagram at 2 Cooks Podcast. That's the number 2 Cooks Podcast. And share with all your favorite foodies. This is Too Many Cooks in the Kitchen, where better food and better health always start in the kitchen. Mom, don't forget to go check the stove. I think that might be how dinner got burned.
Thanks for listening. See you next time. Gotta run and check the stove.
But don't hang up your apron just yet.
Next time, we're digging into why eating dirt may not be all that bad.
That's appetizing.
We're serving up some knowledge about the link between soil and human health.
See you next time.
Bye.